What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to do a follow-up to the story I did, I believe, over the weekend, honestly, about Star Wars Battlefront 3. Now, when I made that weekend video, I was a couple days late, and we talked about it just being a possibility, that two actors that had previously worked on Battlefront 2 are back in the studio, back doing stuff. There's a lot of signs, it seems like, that Battlefront 3, and you go with Lucasfilm Games, you go with what EA has said that they want to do, that they still want to basically make Star Wars games, right? Seems very likely. Well, now we have more fuel to add to the fire. And this comes from Comic Book Gaming or comicbook.com. And this actually, they wrote it. But Jeff Grubb, our good old friend, Jeff Grubb, I go to him a lot. I mean, he's really good, honestly. I was going to say, like, Mass Effect, he was kind of one of the go-to guys for when he talks about stuff. He's normally right. And if he's not right now, he's normally right later down the line. Okay, most things, like, eventually come true. And basically, two things. Number one, there is I believe a Reddit thread that claims that the game is in development. Okay, now I'm not going to read through it. The thing with these leaks and rumors that we always talk about, when they come from Reddit, I mean 99.9% of the time, they're just, they're hilarious and they're mainly garbage, okay? So just because anything's on Reddit doesn't immediately make it true. But Jeff Grubb suggested there's truth to the rumors. Unfortunately, Grubb didn't say much of significance, but noted that he expects EA's ongoing Star Wars series, Battlefront and Jedi Fallen Order, to continue. So that's pretty much what he said. He just expects that what they've already done, they will continue to do. That's good enough for me. Honestly, that's good enough for me. Again, he's normally right. With Mass Effect, he had told us about it months and months and months before the fact. It's just he was a little, his days were off, his months were off in terms of when announcements would happen, when the release would happen. But he is normally very right. And again, like, this is something that it's kind of obvious, you would imagine, right? Where it's like, these games did amazing. I mean, they did. I mean, and I think that's actually what comicbook.com went on to say. The rest of the article, I won't read it, but they did go on to say, like, it makes sense considering Battlefront 2. I mean, they sold extremely well. And remember, the whole reason EA didn't want to do story single-player games is because they didn't think they sold, which is hilarious and stupid. But that's the general idea of it. But what does that also mean? It probably means that, to them, the metrics for Battlefront 1 and 2 did very good. And they're like, okay, do we keep doing online games where we can milk microtransactions, or do we do a story, a single-player game, takes 8 to 10 hours to beat, and then it's done? And, like, is that worth it? Then I get that, I guess, when you say it out loud like that, it doesn't seem as worth it, especially when you're EA and you can get money from people in different ways, you know what I mean? So, no, but honestly, I think, they are going to lose the license in just a few years, 2023 against the last year of their agreement. Now, again, we still don't know how it works. They've been nobody's really spoken on it, and that's what's slightly annoying, is like, we don't know if they are allowed to continue after. We didn't even know something like this was possible. And actually, what I said, I have heard in the gaming industry over the last week, and I said it, I want to gloat. I believe I said it first, where basically I said, okay, what the contract could be is that you can't release games, okay, until the contract ends. Not that you can't make agreements and develop games. But again, like, nothing was ever said to us. So when Lucasfilm Games became a thing, when Ubisoft is hiring for a Star Wars game and they're making it, like, literally right now, we're like, wait, what? Like, you can't, I don't think the contract can be void. You can't void the contract, but I do think the rule is probably you can make games, you can make agreements with Lucasfilm Games and stuff like that, but you can't release the game until literally the day after the contract expires, or the day the contract expires, right? So that's what I think is going on here. So I believe Jeff Grubb. I think that it just continues to, and again, Ubisoft, Lucasfilm Games, EA is making more. EA said they're going to be announcing them throughout this year. And again, I keep saying, they've said several. They're working on several Star Wars games, and Jedi Fallen Order 2 is definitely one of them. But when you say several, when you say, like, multiple, like, you mean more than one is normally what you mean, you know what I mean? So what does that, that you have to have another game in there, unless they're doing something just completely, out of left field, which I guess is possible. I think, though, with a trilogy, with something as successful but as problematic, because it's definitely been problematic, Battlefronts, I still think they try to squeeze that in. Again, if they're, say, when the contract expires and they're not allowed or they can't get a deal to work with Lucasfilm Games or whatever, I mean, they'd be done. You know what I mean? So you have to put these games to use while you have a chance. And more than that, really, and I haven't even said this before, this will be the first time I say it could even be like a testing period where it's like, okay, if there's no guarantee when the contract ends that like EA would have to like renegotiate and redo things with Lucasfilm Games, and maybe they flat out will not work with EA when it's over. And again, all that is speculation, we don't know. Then any Star Wars game that still comes out in this exclusivity period is really a test, and it's really EA saying like, no, please God, let us keep making these games after. Like, look, we can do it. Look, we made Fallen Order. Look, we made Fallen Order 2. Look, we made Battlefront 2 when it was good, and look, we made Battlefront 3. You know what I mean? So you can use those things maybe as leverage to say, yeah, you know, we turned it around the last several years. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of uncertainty, but I definitely think Battlefront 3 is in the works. Now, like I said in that last video, who's working on it? Because DICE made 2, and DICE is working on Battlefield 6. So are you again making them work on 2 things at once, which has never worked out? It always results in one of them or both being not the greatest product. So hopefully it's not DICE, or if it is, I hope you've, I don't know, continue to just improve how you make 2 games at once over there, because again, it just has not worked out so far. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be announced soon? Now, again, the rumor was announced soon. Jeff Grubb just said that there's going to be continuation, so maybe we get the announcement this year, maybe next. Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up, and I do a brand new video every single day on this channel, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.